Hi, I'm Sarah from SidetrackSarah.com, and I wanted to tell you about my favorite, or one of my favorites anyway, kitchen appliances called the Instant Pot. The Instant Pot's a pressure cooker that runs on electricity, so not like your mom's old pressure cooker that you saw on the stove cooking as a child. It has a lot of cool features, and I'm going to show you a little about each of the features as we go. So first off, let's see. I guess I should tell you why I like the Instant Pot. Now, I'm also a huge fan of the slow cooker, and one of the reasons I love my Instant Pot is that we have a slow cook button right there. And I will show you up close the buttons in just a little bit. But slow cook, you can slow cook your food in the Instant Pot, or you can pressure cook them. Now, pressure cooking, I was really unfamiliar with for quite some time. Even though I grew up with my mom using a pressure cooker, I never realized the need to have one. So, one of the biggest reasons is being able to cook food and really fast, right? Like especially those things that you might have to slow cook for all day, or maybe the things that you might cook in your oven. Meats especially go really well because they get really tender, but I mean you can do anything like soups, and you can even steam vegetables in this because there's a steam button. I really like to do potatoes and rice in it. They always turn out nearly perfectly, and really it's a wonderful appliance that if you don't have one, you should pay attention and think about getting one because it can replace a lot of your other kitchen appliances if you have a lot of different ones. First off, let's look at the lid. Now, whenever I turn this lid, you hear that noise? That lets you know that the lid is opened, and that one lets you know that the lid is closed. And so I'm going to open it and take it off. And inside you can see the pretty pot. Now, since I'm going to, I say the pretty pot, I'm talking about the stainless steel pot. Since I'm going to focus on the lid right now, I'm going to move this back a little bit, and I'm going to show you what the lid is like. So up here you can see the valve, and this is what releases the steam. And you will turn it this way to vent it, and you'll leave it this way if you're pressure cooking and you want the steam to show. Now this thing right here, it will raise up once it's reached full pressure. And so you will know not to try to open your slow cooker as long as that is raised up. But really, in all actuality, your pressure cooker will not let you open it if that is raised up because it has a safety mechanism. It will not open, basically, if that is raised up and it's still under pressure. So none of those exploding stories are true on this Instant Pot because it's got safety mechanisms built in. Okay, now let me show you the underneath of the lid. Okay, in this right here is where your valve is, and you can take this little piece off. If you see that, I took mine off earlier and cleaned it, and now this is the valve that seals, and this is the one that you can open and vent. And one time, let me tell you, I had overfilled my pressure cooker above the max line, and these got clogged. This one did. And so it took me a little bit to figure it out, but ever since that time, I've never overfilled it, and I've never had it clogged since. So if you do get an Instant Pot and it doesn't ever change to the pressure, then you'll know to check to make sure that's not clogged. But I'm going to replace this. Another really cool thing about this lid is this seal right here comes out, so you can wash it. And they sell it separately. So if yours deteriorates, or if you accidentally cut it or something, or you lose it when you left to wash it, you can always replace it, which I think is a really cool feature. Now this lid is made of really thick stainless steel, and of course there's plastic up here on the handle. One thing you need to be careful about is this metal will still get really hot, which is a nice feature and also a pain if you have kids in the house. So this metal, I like being able to check to see if the pressure cooker is working. So I'll just lightly tap it and make sure that it's on. But my daughter, on the other hand, who is 8, she like reached across it the other day and she burned herself. So you just got to be really careful not to leave it in the reach of kids, or at least teach them that it's going to be really hot and they don't want to just lay their arm on it. Okay, now let's talk about the Instant Pot buttons that you have. Now, I have found that I don't really use all those buttons that often. Typically, I will use manual, and then I will adjust my time to whatever I'm doing. Now, say I'm doing like baked potatoes. I usually do it between 11 and 15 minutes, depending on how many potatoes and the size of them. And then that will start to heat up. And you'll know that it's heating up because it's beeping that it's on. Of course, this will only be, it won't really be working unless the lid is on, and my lid's not on yet. But I like doing this early sometimes because it, like if I'm getting the potatoes ready, I'll go ahead and start it so that it starts heating up, so it eliminates some of my heat up time. Because one of the things that I never realized when I first bought the Instant Pot, was that I was going to have to wait for that heat up and pressure building time before it started cooking. So sometimes it takes up to 20 minutes to build up to pressure. Actually, I've heard of it taking even 30 minutes. I'm not sure the official time, but it will take at least 20 usually to build the pressure, and then the cooking begins at that point. And so this on button right here will not change until it's to full pressure. Then once full pressure has been reached, you'll see your timer come up, and it'll say like 14 is what I put mine on. So it'll say 14, and then it will gradually count down the minutes until it's done. And as soon as it's done, it will beep, and it will change over to the keep warm cancel. Not cancel. It will change to keep warm. So that will just be running, and it will count like for how long it's been done. So you can leave it sit there for a couple hours if you want to, or like right now it's going to start counting, and we can leave it like that and it'll just count the amount of time it's been on keep warm. Or you can just go and turn it off. But as long as you're not touching it, it's going to stay on keep warm regardless, and if you haven't done anything to any buttons when it's done cooking. Now, each of these individual buttons, let's see, there's the soup is pre-programmed for 30 minutes. Then you have your meat and stew. See, I don't prefer to use these because I'm never quite sure if that amount of time is going to be right. Like poultry, I know you'd cook less than, say, a roast for meat and stew, but I've had to cook my roast even longer than 35 minutes. So typically what I will do is I'll use manual. I will look up the time period that it's supposed to cook on the Instant Pot site or on some other site online, and I will just set my time that I want to do. So I'm going to turn this off so it stops beeping at us. Now, one of the things, this is the Instant Pot 7-in-1, and the main feature it has that's different than the 6-in-1 is that you can make yogurt with it. And I have never used this feature yet, and I haven't met very many people that have, but if you're the type that would like to make yogurt, I've made it in a slow cooker before. I'm sure it's very similar. So, to where you would just heat it up to a certain point and then let it sit, and it probably keeps it at a certain temperature if you were letting it sit. Now, I have used the rice, but still sometimes I just choose to do it on manual once again, because there's always the different toughness of rice. You know, you've got your white rice that doesn't cook nearly as long. You've got your brown rice that needs to cook longer, and then there's multigrain, which they do have a multigrain feature there. But I typically just prefer to look at the charts that they have out there and decide. One thing I really love about it, though, is that I can slow cook. And as you all know, I have tons of freezer to slow cooker meals. And some of the people in my subscription are able to actually, they've been using the Instant Pot to put their freezer to slow cooker meal in on slow cook because maybe they forgot to put it in the morning. Actually, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. They're using the Instant Pot to pressure cook it in like 40 minutes. But you can use it just to slow cook if you prefer, which I think is a really cool feature. In fact, you can set the timer to go all the way up to 24 hours, I believe. I'm going to check it. Nope, 20 hours. So you can set the timer to go up to 20 hours if you want. Say you had a pork loin or something like that. But I would suggest changing the, this means it's on high. So if you're going to cook something that long, you're going to want to put it on less, which is low. But in order to do that, I have to turn it back off. And I'm going to go with adjust and see how that changed my button to the less. Now we know we're on low. Okay, I'm going to turn it off so it quits beeping at us. Now, another really fun feature is the saute button. Saute is kind of just like having a hot plate. So you will put your food in there and you can cook it, like say you had some ground beef that you needed to cook. You can saute it right there and then leave it in there. Of course, if you need to drain it, you're going to have to do that. But really, this pot is really easy to take out, and I'll show you that next. Okay, so this pot is really cool because you can take it out easily. If it's hot, you need to use a hot pad or something. And it's got this 3-ply stainless steel on the bottom. It's really thick, but that's nice because it doesn't burn easily. You will get a little bit of crustiness if you have something on the bottom, so you can use your little trivet that they give you to keep that off the bottom if you want to. Or for me, I kind of like it because my husband likes things overdone, and I like things just not just before they get overdone. And so I know I can give him the things that get a little bit crispy if they happen to stick to the bottom for any reason. But really, this thing is so easy to clean. I just use my scrubber and I stick it in the dishwasher if I have room, or if I don't have room, I just clean it out, and it goes really fast. To me, it cleans so much faster than a slow cooker does. Okay, well, I hope that this is exciting for you, and maybe you are ready to take that plunge and buy the Instant Pot that you've been keeping your eye on for a while. Now, one thing I forgot to mention that I think everybody who is going to buy an Instant Pot should probably know, because this is one thing I was kind of disappointed to learn, but then it ends up not being a big deal. But you have to, I guess it's because I'm a slow cooker girl, and so I like to just throw it all in and end up, and then it comes all out at the same time, which is technically true with the Instant Pot, but you have to do it in a few different steps. So say if you were cooking chicken and rice and broccoli, you don't want to put your broccoli in with the chicken and rice. You're going to want to add it at the end, because if you don't, the broccoli is all going to fall apart, and it will turn your rice green and you won't know you had broccoli. So anyway, it's just one of those steps where you need to add the vegetables towards the end, unless you don't care that they disintegrate or fall apart or become mush. And if you care that they're mush, then you add it at the end, and you can steam it or pressure it for just a little bit of time. So anyway, I hope that this has helped you. And like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment, and I will gladly answer any questions that you may have. And I'm going to be getting to more and more recipes in the Instant Pot soon. So check back often. I hope to see you soon. Bye.